Alright guys, Red here. Welcome to Red's Resort. In this show we take a look at what's been happening around the verse, whether that be social media, Reddit, YouTube, etc. Then we'll take a wee look at what's coming from official sources as well, just to give you a weekly Star Citizen summary. So let's hop right on over to Reddit first to see what those lunatics have been up to. This is called The Last Stand, and is an animated image somebody called Kent Design Art has created. Obviously, as usual, all links for everything in the video will be linked below. And this is just a mind-blowing piece of atmospherics going on here. We've got these guys standing off in the pounding rain, which hopefully will be in the game one day. And it's all sort of low visibility, and then as you come up you've got this hammerhead just looming there menacingly. It's just amazing really. Well done to you, Kent. That is some next level stuff, my dude. This person was also responsible for the thumbnail of this video, so a big thank you for that. A lot of time and effort went into that shot, and if you would like, you should definitely check out their other work if you're looking for cool wallpapers, etc. Then we've got the user Godzilla Dropkick suggesting this quality of life improvement to the game, where you can adjust the head position of your character to allow you to find a more comfortable playing position. And I'm all for it really. I've always used this when I get in any DCS cockpit, and would love for it to be in Star Citizen as well. It should work really well with head tracking, for example, or even normal tracking really, and would just add another few bonus points to the game's simulation status, especially when you're trying to see what's below you when you're landing and things like that. A really great idea. This bit of footage was posted by Vintersol WS and shows a Hull C spinning out of control whilst entering the atmosphere. And I mean, words sort of fail me here. Like, it's just such a majestic shot in the first place, and then the spin, and you know, sometimes you just see things in this game that are just beyond expectations. A truly beautiful capture. Next up is somebody flying a Razor through a C2. Just one more time. Let me play it again. I mean, I've got nothing here. This is absolutely surgical. And that was Vintersol again, by the way. Next up we had the sneak peek. Looks to be a cool cave system for adding somewhere, to be honest. I added this one kind of last minute and I couldn't dig up any more info on where it could be or what it's about. But I'm thinking if you add a couple of predatory fauna in here, it could make for one hell of a creepy vibe. If you know any more about this, let me know below. We'll leave the Reddit section of the video with this last post from Pekato, who has made this masterpiece for us. Yep. I mean, could you even imagine? Would be absolutely eye-watering. And there's an Ion version as well. Obviously, never gonna happen, but it's cool to dream. Next up, we're over at TikTok, where we have a content creator called Tazind, and he's been knocking out these Star Citizen short stories, and they are just the perfect thing to stick on whilst you're working away in the verse. The guy's audio and voice are absolutely spot on, and I'll just let you hear a little sample because it will speak for itself really.
In the shimmering expanse of the Antares Nebula, a cosmic phenomenon of swirling gases and celestial wonders, Captain Zara received a distress signal from a remote research outpost. The scientists stationed there had unearthed an anomalous artifact, triggering a cataclysmic event that rendered the outpost's communication systems inoperable.
This is the type of content that I crave personally. Such great imagination and engaging work. Thanks for this, dude. Now we're over to Spectrum to see what's been going on in that hellhole, and we have this. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So this guy, Agents Letty, appears to be part of Mongrel Squad, and they are basically asking how much piracy would they need to accomplish in terms of raw AUAC pilfered for CIG to consider putting this in the game. And I mean, look at that thing. Look at it with your eyeballs. I honestly would serve myself up with bacon and weevil eggs to further this cause. Now obviously, there's no response to this. It will probably fall on deaf ears, but my god, that thing is sexy. Mactan Hiram wrote a post voicing their concerns over the unavoidable forced reloads that slow you down to a walking pace when you fire the last round in a magazine. Pretty reasonable gripe, to be honest, as that does seem badly handled and clunky at times. There was a response to this. Z Priest commented that it will be part of the Action Matrix network. He went on to explain what that would actually mean. Right now you have a half mag, you hit reload, you have to wait until it's finished before you can sprint. In the future, if you hit reload, then you need to sprint, the reload animation will just cancel and you will start sprinting. It will also allow the player to queue actions more sensibly, so if you're med penning and you change weapon, once you're done the weapon will switch. Same with mantling, etc. Kusangi Batu has went out of their way to make this marvellous floor plan of the Drake Kraken. This is based off section views, concept art and 3D views of the interior from a previous jump point. Obviously seriously subject to change, but if you can't stop dreaming about what one day might be, then this will definitely feed that fire for you. Links below if you want to stare at it for a couple of hours, soaking in all those possibilities like a crazy person. On YouTube we have a man who needs no introduction, Mr. Voidyvids himself. He recently made a video called Star Citizen is a Dark Forest. Now, I'm a big fan of Voidy, and a big fan of the Dark Forest series of books, and the whole premise here was very interesting to me and also very insightful. Basically what Voidy is addressing is how the players interact with each other when they happen upon each other out in the blue, or the black for this case. The tendency to shoot on sight could probably be avoided, or even encouraged, in a lot of scenarios if things like VoIP were reliable and the encounter had more meaningful repercussions, etc. His whole point here seems to be about how as we go into the future, we'd hope to see more reliance on genuine interaction with other players to fuel some of that gameplay and leave us with a more interesting game overall. Hopefully avoiding the overwhelming majority of meetings ending in bloodshed. As with a lot of other games, this is traditionally pretty hard to balance, and my thoughts, like Voidy, go back to the good old DayZ days and Frankie on PC, etc. Out of all the things I hope Star Citizen turns out to be, meaningful player interaction and weight given to your actions or death, for me is top of that list. Like, no matter what else gets added, the point at which players come face to face, and the possibility of having other choices there, should be the very apex of the Star Citizen pyramid. But it's possible this is just an invalid opinion, and people shoot on sight because they just love shooting people, basically. Let me know what you'd prefer. As usual, all links are below, so if for some unimaginable reason you haven't watched the Voidy vid yet, I thoroughly recommend it. Server recovery with the replication layer has just been tested, and it was a success. The server losing connection and then jumping to a new server, and things like the cargo was still in place, the vehicles were still in place, the inventory was still there, there's still some things lying about on the floor, etc. Obviously there has been some issues like people losing access to inventory if they were in the inventory system when it happened. I'm sure there'll be more, but overall for a first test that seems like a pretty positive result. Last up we had the RSI Arastra Q&A. I'm just going to run over these quickly and boil down the answers a bit in the name of brevity. The Arastra will have 2 reactors, which will allow it to run 2 mining orders separately. Each of these will be able to refine about the same as the total output for the Expanse, and both reactors will be able to output about the same as the Galaxy's module. It doesn't refuel its own Quantanium, but it can obviously refine it. It sits between the Mole and the Orion in terms of actual mining capability, with large lasers able to crack harder rocks at greater distances. Also, these size 3 mining lasers will not be bespoke, so you'll be able to switch them out, I'm assuming. It will be able to accept ore bags by attaching them to its 2 ports. None of the lasers will be controllable by the pilot. Does the ship have VTOL for surface mining? Yes. The ship has a dedicated cargo bay that surrounds the vehicle bay and can hold 2 Rock DSs or 2 Ursa-sized vehicles. The external ore storage will use standardised SCU containers. The pilot has control over the missiles, And for access to the ship you will have the large docking collar on the side as well as the central crew elevator. There is also a shared bunk area and a separate habitation/kitchen area. There are weapons and suit storage but no dedicated armoury, and there's no infirmary. Overall though, that sounds like it's going to be an absolute banger of a ship, and it's probably the ship I'm most looking forward to personally coming down the road. That sort of all-in-one mining package should really be beneficial to the mining crews out there, and I absolutely can't wait for it. And that's it guys, that's all the news this week from the Fringes of the Verse. Big thank you to my channel members Nils Gerdes and Spacecraft. If you enjoyed this video, please remember like and subscribe. 07 guys.